Yo. Welcome to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by your man E here. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be an awesome show we have in store for you today. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today. We're going to start off with a little bit of our WWE Smackdown preview and kind of segue into our Thursday night wrestling review, kind of what went on in the World of Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. Also, just to kind of that number three segment we have lined up is the Elite Eight. I'm going to continue to narrow down these amazing wrestling factions that deserve to obviously get credit, and that's why I'm here. No, but so far it's been hard decisions. It's been a doozy. We're gonna go over some of the eight of the remaining teams, and I still think there's one more match from the Sweet 16. So we'll narrow it all down tonight. So we'll have our winner. And to cap it off, going into the weekend every Friday, I kind of like to do this wrestling news roundup. Where I kind of leave wrestling fans with just a little bit of knowledge that you didn't know heading into the weekend. Of course, where you won't see me Saturday and Sunday. I know it's sad. You don't have to cry. I'll cry with you. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we have a pretty awesome show. But before we dive into anything, I just want to remind you guys that we get a number of questions from our viewers through the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips or donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your questions up on top so we can talk about it, discuss, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. And it also really helps the show, guys. Leave a positive review at the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity. And once again, the link is the gsmcpodcast.net. So don't be afraid to use that. All right, what do we got here? We have our WWE Smackdown preview. Oh man, it's going to be an amazing Smackdown. Obviously, Monday Night Raw was pretty awesome kind of going into this week. It's the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. So honestly, I feel like the WWE Friday Night Smackdown kind of has that same, mentality that it's going to be an awesome show. You're going to see a lot of things, probably a lot of, like superstars from WWE NXT trying to make their way up to the draft, or you can see some free agents that came out. I think WWE signed like three of them over the past week, but I don't know, just exciting stuff that's gonna happen on SmackDown tonight. It's gonna be at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Cody Rhodes. We get Cody Rhodes' reaction to what The Rock gave him in his hand, and The Rock said, The Rock said, kind of like his music, but no, he said, don't you ever break my heart again. And he gave him like something in his hand, and it just leaves wrestling fans like what the hell was that? Like, what is that all about? And then of course speculation goes on and on and on. I don't honestly, I have not the slightest clue what it could be. Something that could just fit in his hand. Maybe something that Dusty Rhodes gave to The Rock during his tenure in WWE, and that kind of like he used for motivation or stuff like that, and he's going to give it back to Cody. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see like what happens with that. Also, we kind of get Cody's reaction to what The Rock said about The Rock. Once when he leaves, he's going to go away for a little while. But when I come back, belt or no belt, I'm coming for you, Cody Rhodes, which is pretty awesome. I kind of like that. I kind of like that, even if he's not the champion, which is highly doubtful. But when he comes back, he's going to want to try to, he's going to want to fight Cody. He's going to, the story between The Rock and Cody Rhodes has just begun. Obviously, it took Rhodes and Reigns' story took about 2 years. Cody Rhodes had to win two Royal Rumble matches to kind of solidify that, but I don't know. I'm in for it. I'm ready to see what happens between these awesome superstars, and you know, as a wrestling fan, it's cool to see The Rock and it's cool to see Cody Rhodes, two of the top performers, just kind of go head to head and kind of go at it. Especially like their mic skills and also their wrestling abilities are also pretty cool. So I don't know. This is gonna be awesome. So WWE fans or wrestling fans in general should get hyped about this. I know I am. Next we have Bayley addresses the WWE Universe. Bayley was victorious at WrestleMania Night 2 and defeated Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship. Like I said in the prior podcast, I feel kind of bad for EO, because I don't really I hope like her talent really doesn't get brushed under the rug and kind of forced like overseen or basically I just hope that all is well when it comes to Io Sky and Damage Control. I don't think Damage Control is going to last, but it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of implement maybe like a storyline or obviously the Kabuki Warriors still have the women's world tag team titles. So, but I can, imagine Bianca Belair and Naomi, challenging for those titles at, Bash of Berlin or something like that. So we have that to look forward to. But Bayley, tonight you're gonna find out who's gonna challenge Bayley. You're gonna find out who's going to be her next opponent. They're gonna solidify it tonight. Thus, bringing in promos and just bringing in stuff that ultimately promotes who Bayley's opponent's going to be. And like I said before, it could be Bianca. Not too sure. I'm very not sure if it's gonna be Bianca. But then you also have Jade Cargill. I guess there's been speculations that she's going to be at a couple of WWE live events, and I think she's still, sort of like learning the ropes in terms of like WWE. Maybe she's kind of like taking it slow, knowing her body because she has had a history of injuries. So I think, she probably will challenge for the title, but I don't think she's going to be like the next one. And if she is the next one, I think maybe it might be a little too soon to kind of push her. Obviously, they spent the money to kind of, bring her talent to WWE. Be like, okay, so why are you paying her that much if she's not going to be in the top tier matches in WWE? And with that, I completely agree with that thought. But I don't know. I just think it's too soon. It's too soon right now, and I don't know. But Bayley right now, she kind of still has that door open toward Damage Control. So it wouldn't surprise me if Io Sky does get her rematch clause at Bash of Berlin. So they can kind of keep building up Jade or figure out this Bianca Belair and Naomi tag teaming against the Kabuki Warriors. And just kind of keep those wrestlers together, kind of like what you saw at WrestleMania with that 3-on-3 match between Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade versus Damage Control. And you also have Bayley and Io. So, I don't think that storyline's going to really go anywhere. Or, we can see a complete, crazy twist tonight. Like, what if Roxanne Perez comes out and, demands a title shot or something like that? Like, we don't know if that's going to happen. And I think that's the beauty of the Paul Levesque era is, to know that unpredictability is in the air and that wrestling isn't, just that show you can just put on the back burner. It's going to be something that's going to come out with like hot new, takes, hot new storylines, rivalries, and yeah, something that's going to be super excited to see. So tune in to Smackdown tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. I'm going to hop on that as soon as I'm done with this podcast. So, kind of moving on. Next, we're going to talk about how WWE handles the LA Knight. Recently, he picked up a match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania. He did have a chance to fight Roman Reigns, but ultimately that was during like the height of the Bloodline movement, and ultimately the match was, it was screwed over because obviously interference of the Bloodline. So I don't really see him fighting Cody Rhodes to be his next opponent. Oh God, who is going to be Cody Rhodes' next opponent? That's a tricky one. Bobby Lashley, maybe? We did see Karrion Kross in the Final Testament go on to a WWE NXT. So that could be a possibility, maybe, because, you don't have them feuding with the Street Profits anymore. Or what would also be another kick out? Maybe Randy Orton. Maybe perhaps Randy Orton could throw his hat in the ring and challenge Cody Rhodes. But then you also have Seth Rollins. I feel if anybody has a chance at the championship, it's got to be Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes really has to respect the fact that Seth Rollins fought 2 days in a row. Obviously, it cost him his World Heavyweight Championship because he was injured and tired from night one. And I don't know. You kind of owe it to Seth Rollins to be like, hey, like you had my back. You're going to be the first one to get a chance at this title. Well, of course, whenever you're ready, because it's expected for him to miss a couple of weeks, due to that knee injury. So, should be interesting to see what happens tonight on SmackDown. Next, you also have maybe Gunther, perhaps Gunther. I don't know if he's going to jump like straight from losing his historic title run to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, to fighting Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Maybe, but that's a big ass maybe. Or perhaps Sheamus is expected to come back. It could be Sheamus. It honestly probably would make a lot of sense. And you have that kind of unpredictable like factor that WWE has right now. And I don't know, it's fun. It's really fun. But like where we kind of started, I don't think it's going to be AJ Styles, or I don't think the LA Knight is going to challenge him. Maybe perhaps the LA Knight could challenge like maybe Logan Paul or for the Intercontinental Championship. You also have to think about what's going to happen at the WWE draft, because obviously you have the United States Championship, which I believe belongs to SmackDown, and then you have the Intercontinental Championship, which is usually defended on Raw. But things could switch up. We never know. So I'm actually pretty excited to see the WWE draft, because it's going to have so many implications and potential storylines that it's going to be pretty dope. So next, I want to talk about the next opponent for Logan Paul. Logan Paul was one of the only two to successfully defend their championship at WrestleMania. The other was Rhea Ripley, but Logan Paul, he's pretty impressive. He's awesome to see in the ring. Honestly, I know a lot of people give him baggage for being like a YouTuber and stuff like that, but hey, this guy's busting his ass and he's showing up half the roster in the wrestling world right now. So kudos to him. But Logan Paul, I don't know if his next opponent is going to be Randy Orton again. Randy Orton wasn't technically pinned, so maybe he kind of has that strong case with that. I doubt Kevin Owens is going to come back and try to fight again for Logan Paul. But then again, I don't really know where, the KO show would go, if he would be challenging for the Intercontinental Championship again, or maybe he's going to ask his best friend Sammy after, I don't, he might lose it to Chad Gable in Montreal. A lot of people are expecting him to lose to Sami Zayn to retain, but the unpredictable factor, like, to be honest, it'd be cool if Chad Gable won. Like, it'd be like, oh, Sami Zayn was a champion for like a week, but Chad Gable like really deserves it. But obviously, Chad Gable wasn't the one to beat Gunther at WrestleMania. So, it'd be cool to see Sammy and Kevin kind of go at it, because you have that chemistry that you see in the ring, and that makes for good matches. So that'd be pretty dope to see. Um, the thing that makes the most sense for the new challenger of Logan Paul's United States Championship is Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley right now is he's coming off of the street fight win in Philadelphia against Karrion Kross. Um, Bobby Lashley, of course, was a dominant United States champion as well. He was a good WWE champion. He was ECW like, oh man, but would they? Maybe they would be. I might be saving him for Cody, but I don't know. It just makes the most sense for him to go after, like, because you need that heel, which is like Logan Paul, against that like face, and I think that Bobby Lashley right now is pretty face, baby face when it comes to professional wrestling. So it'd be kind of interesting to see that. Or you have Braun Breaker or Baron Corbin coming in from WWE NXT, declaring themselves eligible for the draft. It could be one of those guys. Honestly, it would be pretty awesome to see Braun Breaker challenge Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Honestly, that's kind of what I would put my money on, and what I would want to, what I would want to see, to be honest. Next, we have Grayson Waller and Austin Theory picking up the titles at the six-pack ladder match at WrestleMania. This was a complete shock to me. I really honestly didn't think these guys stood a chance. And they won the WWE Smackdown titles pretty fast. Pretty fast. They were able to sneak up there and get it. But ultimately, they paid the cost, where Grayson Waller was thrown through a ladder, and that, that looked really, really bad. But it's going to be interesting to see maybe their next opponents. It could be maybe LWO. Maybe they could have a storyline where the LWO challenges Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and such Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, and Logan Paul are like huge friends. Maybe they can implement like a Rey Mysterio fighting Logan Paul for the United States Championship, or you can see like maybe Carlito throwing his hat in the ring, or Andrade. So who knows? When it comes to that, or simply you have the Street Profits. The Street Profits, recently come off a victory against the Final Testament. and ultimately had a chance to join that six-pack ladder match and could have damn near won it if it wasn't for the AOP to interrupt their match and ultimately cost them a chance at championship gold. But I can see this as well, like the Street Profits feuding with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and then you have Logan Paul feuding with Bobby Lashley, both all of them competing for their titles and stuff like that. So that's also a very practical or pragmatic solution to your next the number one contenders for not just the United States Championship but the WWE Smackdown titles as well. So yeah. Next, to kind of cap it all off here, I got the Bloodline. What's the plans for the Bloodline without Roman Reigns and The Rock? This is something that's kind of been speculated in my head, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for these guys to kind of make a name for themselves. Jimmy without Jay, the Usos. Like I said before in prior podcasts, I kind of can see these guys coming back together at some point and fighting for the WWE championships. And then you also have Solo Sikoa. A lot of people see Solo Sikoa as this badass, this bloodline enforcer, but the dude doesn't win. Last time he won was, I think, against John Cena in WrestleMania. This guy doesn't win much. He's not much of a big deal in WWE. So I can't really see him like Solo Sikoa. He's going to challenge Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, or he's the next one to challenge Logan Paul. He's the next top diggity dog. He's the next tribal chief. All this other nonsense. Honestly, and that's the reason why I'm kind of concerned about Solo. I don't, honestly, I don't think he'll be fired or released, but maybe like perhaps going down to WWE NXT could be a possibility. Perhaps, maybe, absolutely just maybe. So I it just sucks to see Roman Reigns not being on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, but they also said maybe there might be like a surprise guest on SmackDown. It is the SmackDown after WrestleMania, so obviously some big things to come. It could happen, maybe not. I certainly hope so because I do miss the tribal chief and all of his hooligans and their shenanigans. So that should be interesting to see. All right, well, next segment we got to look forward to is our Thursday Night Wrestling review. I'm just going to go ahead and, talk about, what's going on in the Ring of Honor world, also the, Impact Wrestling, any implications toward New Japan Pro Wrestling, and, stuff like that. So, hey, don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of talk about what we recently talked about on segment one. We were talking about WWE Smackdown. Bayley and Cody Rhodes are expected to show up, address the WWE Universe, and I feel like we're gonna find the next opponent for those two titles tonight. And this new Raw approach that Paul Levesque is taking, like I don't know, like sometimes in recent times under the Vince McMahon, era, you might have them kind of dilly-dally around for a couple of Raw or SmackDowns before they actually try to find somebody. And then they usually find someone and they, kind of, try to push things together. And it just like, you can see product like that, kind of, it's nasty. It's bad. the best matches have build-ups, kind of like you had the final boss and Cody Rhodes during that promo. Heading toward WrestleMania. So I know everyone's like thinking like, oh, dude, it's Mania. It's Mania. You're not going to get something like that, for, they're just starting basically. You had the Super Bowl WrestleMania, and then like it's a whole new season, whole new build up. But I feel like under this era, you're gonna see like killer promos like that. Like, so what if it was WrestleMania? It's gonna be WrestleMania every single night in the WWE under the Paul Levesque era, which is obviously something I'm looking forward to, and I think you guys should be looking forward to that as well. So before we jump on into it, our Thursday Night Wrestling review. Just to remind you guys, we get a number of questions from our viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips or donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. This puts your questions up on top of the list so I can see it, so we can talk about it. Tell me what you like about the show. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to further elaborate on. I'm ultimately the host of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, but without you, the audience, I am nothing. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, you guys, help a lot. Leave a positive review at the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity. And, yeah, so just remember the link is the GSMC podcast.net. So, yeah. So, our Thursday night wrestling review. Let's talk a little bit about what happened on Ring of Honor. We had I have results. We have Action Andretti beating Isaiah Cassidy. This was a pretty good match. I saw highlights, but I like Cassidy, but I just don't think he's kind of like he's ready to. But I don't want to say like you can tell like when he wrestles, like you see like a lot of enthusiasm and charisma, and I just I don't know. You kind of want to see the best out of these wrestlers because they're putting their heart in the line when they go to the squared circle, kind of fighting for like, the audience. Like, it's sports entertainment. They're doing it to entertain you. So obviously, I hope the best for Isaiah Cassidy, and I hope that this loss doesn't discourage them too much because essentially, the Ring of Honor did have a super card as well, kind of like their WrestleMania. So you're gonna see a lot of new, fresh, hot like rivalries and storylines beginning as of right now. So anyways, we had the Shane Taylor promotions. They defeated a Cash Jordan, Julia Ward, and Marcus Garvey, I believe. But Marcus Garvey, driver to Jordan. Oh, okay, no, that's how they're no. But the Shane Taylor promotions, I think they also no way. I think they lost that super card. Or, don't quote me on that. But I don't know. Hey, they're a pretty good faction as of right now in the Ring of Honor world. So I don't think they're really gonna go anywhere. Win or lose that super card. I think coming out victorious on this episode of Ring of Honor kind of means that they're ready to put their fight right back in the hat and try to go after the Ring of Honor tag team titles or or try to fight for the six-man. I think that's what they call it. I think don't quote me on that. I think it's the six-man championship, which would be pretty cool if that was like a universal thing where the WWE would have like 3-on-3s, three guys winning championships. So that'd be pretty dope. Next, we have Nyla Rose beating Kat Von Hees with the frog splash. I didn't get a chance to watch this match, but I like both of the competitors. I've seen Nyla Rose fight. It's crazy. Like, I think it was the other day I looked up on YouTube, like, just I got a little curious. I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to see like what Ring of Honor show kind of looks like, and I watched it and it was pretty cool. Like, obviously, it doesn't have the same quality as like the WWE kind of thing, but the thing that I like about it the most is that you don't really like spend too much time like watching like these people like talk and just talk crap to each other. You kind of you see like the picture of the people fighting, and then they go straight to their announcement of them coming out to fight. So honestly, I think that's pretty cool. It's more about the wrestling as opposed to like the pop culture aspect of it. So that was pretty dope. But Nyla Rose is she's a star, and she's going to obviously be have some pretty big things in Ring of Honor. So next we have the veteran Christopher Daniels beating Cole Carter. Christopher Daniels is obviously I remember watching him on Impact Wrestling like years ago. I want to say back in 2009, 2009 with AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Sting. I think even Hulk Hogan was on there. And you had Aces and Eights, and it was just that was old school, Jay Lethal and all that. But I don't know, Christopher Daniels, he's a G. He's an OG, so it's not surprising that he's still like kicking ass, taking names. So this is not a surprise to me. We have the Righteous B, um, Bryce Donovan, Chico Adams, and no, you had Righteous, and they beat Bryce Donovan and Chico Adams. I did not see this match. I've heard about the Righteous only like very very limited, but it's obviously like it's kind of hard to watch Ring of Honor and it's kind of harder to watch Impact Wrestling because they're not like on cable television and stuff like that. Obviously, like I'm not trying to say just because you're not on television, your product isn't good enough for anybody to watch it. But I'm not saying that at all because, like I said before, these guys are talented superstars. These guys are wrestlers, and they go out there and they bust their ass. So yeah. All right. So you had Anna Jay defeating LMK, and Anna Jay. Obviously, I think she's going to be a huge star in either AEW or Impact or Ring of Honor. But it was kind of shocking that she lost to Mariah May this on Wednesday's Dynamite because I think she's kind of going to be the next one. She's going to be the next one to challenge for the. Maybe she can challenge Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. That'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be a pretty good match to see right there. So you had Zack Knight beating Alvin Alvarez, and then you had Kyle Fletcher beating Wright Titus. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher. I saw that match at Supercard with him. I you know, and I think he's going to be a star. I think he's definitely like he doesn't. I don't want to say Will Ospreay like vibes or like I guess in WWE and kind of compare him to like a Seth Rollins. But I don't know. I think he's going to be pretty good. I think the Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling are lucky to have him. So yeah, like Kyle Fletcher, like he's the man. He's the man. He's the man. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm just kidding. No. All right, but TNA Wrestling. So we had our Impact on Access TV, and honestly, I kind of really wanted to watch that match between Khan and PCO about them being cut off from civilization for so long. So I'm gonna make sure put it on my list to kind of look that up on YouTube. Hopefully they do have YouTube clips. That'd be dope. So you have the digital media champion Crazy Steve against the Laredo Kid. So this match ended with Crazy Steve defeating the Laredo Kid by disqualification. Usually, fans of wrestling fans don't really want to see disqualifications, but hey, like if it happens, it happens. Like what can you do about it? But ultimately it kind of sucks. But then you had Ace Austin and Chris Bay versus First Class, this newly formed alliance between AJ Francis and Rick Swan, and they showed up. They showed up. You can't, you can't fail to acknowledge that these guys came together and against all odds, they were able to defeat a team like Ace Austin and Chris Bay. So I don't know. It's kind of cool that they kind of got their first dub, and they're going to be probably they're probably going to be like the next tag team to fight. Who's the tag team champ? The Undisputed Kingdom. Taven and Bennett, honestly, that would be pretty cool to see. That'd be pretty awesome. Next, we had Jordan Grace and Steph D. Launder sign their contract for Rebellion. So obviously, you saw Matt Cardona came in and he screwed over. Oh man, he attacked Rosemary in the match for that. For that number one contendership. And I don't know. It's kind of like I said before. It was kind of kind of wonky to see a guy help a girl win a you win a match because usually like if you're if you consumed as much WWE as I have, it's usually like the other way around where the where the girl always helps you. Well, I don't know. This Rhea Ripley and Dom thing where Dominic is like kind of like her kind of like her lapdog, and like he does anything to kind of help Rhea Ripley win. But hey, you see Rhea Ripley, like I would do anything to help her win. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, they signed a contract, and obviously there was a altercation at the end, but like hey, I'm excited to see that match coming up at Rebellion. Next, we had TNA World Championship with the System against Trent Seven with Mike Bayley. And Moose is obviously trying to build up some momentum toward Rebellion to fight Nick Nemeth. And, we honestly, I don't think anybody can beat Moose because he's like such like he's amazing physical specimen. And, obviously, like he comes out a winner tonight. And you can't defeat somebody like that. It's not going to be easy. It's like you build up momentum toward winning, and you just keep going and going and going. And it's going to be a tall task for Nick Nemeth to accomplish at Rebellion. But I don't know. You're gonna have to hope that Moose, eats some bad seafood the night before, or maybe he like stubs his toe while coming up to the ring or something like that, or pull a Vince McMahon and like come into the ring, but like kind of hurt his knee or something like that. But I don't know. It should be interesting. Next, we had James Drake with Zach Gibson defeating Jake something. Didn't really watch that match, but I want to see it. Also, to kind of cap it all off, we had PCO versus Khan Monsters Ball match. I kind of don't want to get really into it because I really kind of want to watch it like without kind of knowing what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that bad boy off. No, but no, I kind of want to see it. Really attitude era-esque. Really attitude era-esque. I can see guys like, Kane and The Undertaker fighting each other in like a match or like a stipulation, or the Monster Abyss fighting Viscera, obviously, Impact Wrestling. Or both the Monster Abyss was kind of like a Mick Foley and Kane. Like if Mick Foley and Kane kind of came together, then you had the Monster Abyss at Impact Wrestling via 2000s and early 2010s. So yeah. All right. Well, don't go anywhere. Last podcast on Thursday, I had with the spirit of March Madness kind of ending in college hoops. I kind of thought of having like this wrestling faction, Sweet 16, and we're down to 8 teams. So let's go ahead and find out who's going to be the big winner. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. And just to kind of reflect on what we talked about, we had our segment 1 where we talked about WWE Smackdown preview. And in segment 2, we kind of touched on what happened in the world of Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling, and kind of like, because for them, they also had Ring of Honor Supercard, and then you have Impact Wrestling's Rebellion coming up at the Palms Casino in Nevada. So WWE had WrestleMania, and that's kind of like their WrestleMania, so they're going to kind of start, bringing out some pretty hot storylines and promos, as well. You got to still, you can never count the little guy out. Never, ever, ever. Not ever. No, I'm just kidding. No, moving on. But anyways, yeah, let's get into this Elite 8 factions here. We still have a couple of teams left over, and we still have one more match in our round 1 of the Sweet 16. So, let's introduce the The Heenan family. Ooh, this is a good one. Obviously you see a lot of great, iconic wrestling there. Um, and oh man, it's gonna be tough to beat because the Heenan family, you had King Kong, Bundy, and then you also had the Blackjacks. You had Paul Orndorff, Andre the Giant, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Mr. Perfect. So, man, I don't know if anybody can beat those guys. Let's see who they're gonna take on. Dun, dun, dun. No, okay. Okay. The nation of we are the nation of domination. And it's crazy. I think actually Mark Henry joined the crew as well for the nation of domination. The nation of domination was The Rock, D'Lo Brown, Farouk, and you had Kama Mustafa. These are some pretty bad dudes, some pretty big dudes who's had success in the WWE. Obviously, you still have the most electrifying man in sports entertainment kind of do their thing. But during their tenure, during their time in wrestling, they were just so dominant. I think dominant's the right word. It was dominant to the point where it wasn't even fair. Like where they'd be fighting and then it would just seem kind of like a bloodline and Roman Reigns kind of thing, where they all would help each other win, and essentially like nobody was able to kind of overdo the nation of domination. So man, what do we have? But to be honest, and I don't know, I might get a couple of haters for this one, but I think the winner between the Nation of Domination and Heenan family's got to be the Heenan family. Like you can't discredit Andre the Giant, Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, the Blackjacks, King Kong Bundy. Like I don't know, these guys were some pretty good dudes. They've all had amazing singles careers. So I think they deserve to be part of the Elite Eight. So, yeah. All right. So now we have our Elite Eight. Let's go ahead and get on into our Elite Eight. So, our next match, we have round two. We have the bum, 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 the Shield, obviously consisting of Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, and then you have Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, and then you have the Seth freaking Rollins. But much like the Nation of Domination, and much like all these WWE, NWA, WCW, professional wrestling factions, it was hard to beat these guys when these guys were at their best and they were clicking on all cylinders. It was just impossible to defeat them. So it's gonna be kind of hard to defeat the Shield, but their opponents in Elite Eight, we have Evolution. Evolution, you know, defeating the Cabinet in the Sweet 16. But oh man, this is gonna be hard because you had Triple H, Ric Flair, just them themselves, absolutely impressive. Randy Orton still fighting to this day, the youngest World Heavyweight Champion. And then you have Dave Batista. Dave Batista, once when he was feuding with Triple H, and he had a pretty good singles career as well. He was able to keep SmackDown afloat when the brand split. And obviously, he had some pretty good promos with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and he eventually moved on to be in movies. He's Drax from you know Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel. I don't know if anybody knew that. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that by now. But oh man, you have these guys. Oh my god, it's gonna be hard. So we have Evolution against the Shield. Oh man, this is tough, but ultimately I'm going to have to go with Evolution. Evolution is history. No, I'm just kidding. But Evolution, you have all those guys, and you can't really ignore the dominance they had once. They held all the titles, much like the Bloodline did. They had the tag team championships. It was Randy Orton and Ric Flair, and then you had Triple H as the world's heavyweight champion, and it just I think the reason why this Evolution was so great is because it kicked off a lot of these guys' young careers. Like Triple H was kind of aging a little bit, but he was still in his prime. And then you have Ric Flair, who was over his prime, but he was willing to put over young talent. Then you had people growing into the industry like Batista and Randy Orton. And Batista and Randy Orton were very prominent wrestlers going into, the Ruthless Aggression era to, kind of the product we have right now. So, you kind of have to respect that. All right, so our next match we have The Hart Foundation. The Hart Foundation. Brian Pillman, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, Jim the Nightmare Hart. These guys were dominant as well. Absolutely dominant. Who are they going to fight? Who are they fighting in the Elite Eight? We have D-Generation X. Of course, you can't help but to bring out how Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart during the Attitude Era. Well, I think it was before the Attitude Era. Before the Montreal Screwjob, where these guys didn't really care for each other. These guys generally dislike one another, and it's kind of fitting that they would be in this match against each other in the Elite Eight. Oh God, but I want to pick DX so bad, but I don't want to be biased. Ah, God. If anybody has, any suggestions, any help to put in the tips and donations link, the link is the gsmcpodcast.net. If you want to share your opinions, are going to help me with this difficult decision. God, it's kind of like picking, me as a father to like, oh, my kids are like, oh, who's your favorite kid? And you're like, oh, you guys are my favorite kids, but like, they know that, you have a favorite kid. Oh, God. All right. You guys gotta love me for not being biased. No, I'm just kidding. The winner out of Degeneration X and the Heart Foundation is going to be the Heart Foundation. The Heart Foundation was, they were the best. They were absolutely the best. They were unbeatable. You had Brett, who was probably one of the best, if not the best, professional wrestler of all time because he did so much with WWF, then WCW, and I don't know. This is like something you cannot just overlook and stuff like that. But anyways. So our next match is going to be the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family, Eric Rowan, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Braun Strowman. They were pretty dominant and with them themselves, but their opponents are the NWO. Oh man, this is almost not even fair because the NWO is like such a huge, they're such a huge brand and they made such an impact in wrestling. But I'm not trying to discredit and say that the Wyatt family didn't, or obviously, the late great Bray Wyatt, but man, to be honest, guys, this was a toughie, but the winner is between the Wyatt family and NWO is no brainer. We have the NWO here. Love the NWO. They're definitely one of the best factions of all time. So much chaos, so much success, but ultimately, they were able to kind of, they had a little bit more success than the Wyatt family. So, with that being said, oh man, I gotta be honest, my heart is broken. I'm just kidding, though. Next, to kind of cap off the Elite Eight, we have our last match between the Heenan family and the Four Horsemen. Oh man, these factions are very similar. They all had so much success. Oh god, but like that all-star lineup of Andre the Giant, Mr. Perfect. Oh god, that is so hard to pick. But I guess if I had to, I'm gonna go with my boys, the Four Horsemen. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson. Take your pick. So many people joined the Four Horsemen. You had Sting and Sid Vicious, Kurt Hennig. Totally Blue Herd, Ole Anderson. It's these are some G's right here. These you got to respect the OGs, and I feel like the Four Horsemen did so much for wrestling. Helping create this whole ideology of factions and stuff like that. So you kind of had the guys that invented the wheel, so to speak. So it's going to be kind of hard to fight the Four Horsemen. So anyways, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into round three here. We have our final four. All right, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? All right, so we have Evolution. I love Evolution. Obviously, I just got done talking about Evolution. They're amazing. Against the Heart Foundation. Oh god, this is kind of tough because obviously you have Triple H and Ric Flair, and then you have like a Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Brian British Bulldog, but there's just so much damn success. Oh God. And they did so much for Canadian wrestling too. They're so influential. Obviously, when you think about dominant factions in the WWE, you think about the person who's going to win this match, and it is dun dun dun, the Hart Foundation. The Hart Foundation moves on, guys. I don't know if y'all are surprised by that by now, but hey, take your pick. All right. On the other side of the bracket, we have the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen and their opponents are the NWO. It's so hard to count the NWO out. Like, geez Louise. Because there's facts that these guys were absolutely badass. They did whatever the f they wanted, and people loved it. Like, although they were trying to be the heels, you couldn't hate them. You couldn't really hate them because, like, deep down, you're like, oh my God, how can they do that to somebody? But in the back of your mind, you're like, damn, that was pretty cool. You can't discredit that. And, oh man, the Four Horsemen, love the guys, good dudes. But I'm going to go ahead and have to stick with my gut on this one. And the winner between the Four Horsemen and NWO is going to be the NWO. The NWO come out victorious because they're the N freaking WO. Just a bunch of badasses, man, just killing it in the wrestling world. Hollywood Hulk Hogan killing it. So we have our final two. This is gonna be harder than I thought. We we have the Hart Foundation. We have the Hart Foundation against the NWO. Got our final two, and this is the hardest decision of my life, man. Wow. But I love the Hart Foundation because although they weren't as much as chaos, filth, and greed kind of mentality of the NWO, these were like, practitioners in the wrestling squared circle. They were great. They were technical wrestlers. They put on good matches. And it wasn't just like them attacking other superstars and spray painting the NWO. But like I said before, they made a lot of influence on future Canadian wrestlers, and that's something that can't be ignored. But then you had the NWO, which is so iconic. They kind of created that mentality of factions just running rampant all over all over their respective shows. Like without NWO, I know a lot of wrestling fans are probably like, you probably wouldn't have like D Generation X. You probably wouldn't have like D Generation X. Um, in future, time, you wouldn't have um not the blood. You wouldn't have aces and eights of Impact Wrestling. You wouldn't have just basically you wouldn't have the Bullet Club. No, I don't think you really would have the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club is kind of like, kind of like that. You wouldn't have the OC. You wouldn't have Judgment Day. You wouldn't have the New Day. Although the New Days, they didn't really like beat the crap out of anybody and like spray painting on their back. But you wouldn't have anything like that. So I guess the winner of the Sweet 16 of wrestling factions is going to be bum 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 bum. I'm still not too sure. No, I'm just kidding. No, hard decision, but we're gonna have to go with the NWO here. Um, they basically were the backbone of WCW, kind of helped them when it comes to the ratings of the Monday Night Wars and stuff like that. And it was actually to a point where it was the NWO were just running absolute rampant all over Nitro and Thursday Thunder. That it was essentially, if you weren't with us, you were against us. Kind of like the mentality of the NWO, where you had the NWO against all of WCW. So congratulations to the NWO who win Eric's Sweet 16 of historical wrestling factions. So kudos to them. Good for the NWO. All right. So hope you guys liked that segment. If you didn't, or if you have different factions or maybe like a different winner, let me know in the comments section. That'd be pretty cool to talk about something like that. I love wrestling conversations. Love it. All right, and to kind of look forward to our fourth and final segment is our wrestling news roundup. It is Friday. Y'all don't see me for Saturday and Sunday, so just to kind of give you guys some wrestling news to kind of carry on into the weekend to kind of ponder over. So, hey, don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Let's reflect on what we talked about today. Today we talked about the WWE Smackdown preview. It's the first WWE Smackdown after Mania, so it should be a goodie. We also talked about our Thursday night wrestling review, which included Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling, and kind of what that TNA Women's World Championship signing between Stephanie Launder and Jordan Grace is it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a damn good match, and of course, Ring of Honor absolutely killing it as well. And our segment number 3, we talked about our Elite Eight, we Final Four, and we found our finals, and we found that the winner of the best historical wrestling faction is definitely the NWO. So love it or you hate it, the NWO were just influential guys, and it was super cool to watch. So yeah, good for the NWO. All right, so we have our wrestling news roundup. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Um, let's go ahead and talk about our first story. We have a potential massive debut might take place on WWE Smackdown tonight. We have our New Japan wrestler Tama Tonga, and obviously he has some ties with the Bloodline, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with his contract or his character. Perhaps he had so much success in New Japan Pro Wrestling that maybe he could be like championship caliber, like not right away, but perhaps he can. I feel like he's going to make. I don't know. I feel like he's going to make his presence known, either teaming with the Bloodline, or it'd be interesting to see him kind of fight against the Bloodline. You know what I mean? Like he comes in and he was like, "Hey, like I kind of saw how you guys were, doing their stuff, and I don't really like it, and maybe he starts a feud with Solo would be pretty cool, or maybe he calls out Roman Reigns. Oh, the Tribal Chief, ready to be dethroned. No, I'm just kidding. No, that that could be, that would be interesting. That'd be a hell of a storyline pitch for wrestling. But or you can have him, maybe teaming with Jimmy to bring Jay back into the family, beating his butt or something like that. Or maybe he fights Jimmy. Like you don't know what this guy's gonna do. So it's cool to kind of bring in like another person of the Bloodline because they've been so dominant. But hey, it should be interesting to see. All I know is WWE signed him, and that they wouldn't sign him if they didn't have big plans for him. Right now, WWE is kind of they signed a couple other superstars, so you know I hope this all works out for them. So yeah. Next story, I have Shawn Michaels after the NXT Stand and Deliver, based on the WrestleMania numbers and based on their numbers. There's no doubt in his mind that WWE NXT will climb up to new heights. More than it actually already has. Because, like I said, this is the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And now you're going to kind of have some NXT wrestlers move into the main product of our WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown. So you're going to lose a couple of guys, but ultimately, I think that they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. The creative, genius of Triple H and Shawn Michaels together. These guys have been in and out of the company. Well, not in and out of the company. I think it was more like these guys have been just in every era of wrestling. Imagine having that in the back of your pocket to be like, oh, like I've kind of seen it all. I've seen what works. I've seen what doesn't work. I see what puts fans on the fringe. I see what brings butts to the seats. I see what doesn't. So honestly, I think NXT is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And like Ava said, the backbone of WWE NXT has been, kind of the women's division. So it should be interesting to see what Sean means by that. Next story, we have Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, it's still very much has a future in the WWE. I don't know if he's going to do the Uncle Howdy thing that they were doing with Bray Wyatt before Wyatt's unfortunate health passing. But honestly, I want to see it. I want to see Bo Dallas come back to wrestling. I know they had the Believe thing, and they also have him. They had him teaming up with Curtis Axel, and he was like the Mrs. Goons. But honestly, I think he kind of saw like himself as the next person to kind of carry the torch for professional wrestling, because you had Wyndham and Rotanga, the Express inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then now obviously his brother's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I don't know, kind of Uncle Howdy come back, kind of take that place of Bray, not take his place. I don't want to say it like that, but kind of be like that new edgy, kind of weird, kind of creepy, like cringe worthy, like kind of place that Bray Wyatt had. Obviously the Attitude Era kind of had they had Mankind, and then you had The Undertaker doing crazy stuff, and then you got Kane. And not a lot of people could hit like Bray Wyatt did. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he tries to continue his brother's legacy and fights for his honor. Like he comes back as Uncle Howdy to return to the WWE. I think that would be absolutely awesome to see. And I hope it happens. All right, next we have another story about Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey calls out WWE for essentially kind of not taking care of young talent, so to speak. Like she said in an interview that she kind of wishes she got the same treatment as Logan Paul, and that WWE would force big matches. Like they wouldn't take their time to actually like have the two competitors train and have develop chemistry and put on a hell of a show. They would just kind of throw them in together. But then again, that could be like during the Vince McMahon era. So I'm not really like, really taking these Ronda's words into consideration that much. Although, it also could be the fact that she had confrontations with Vince McMahon. She didn't really see eye to eye with Vince McMahon. So will Ronda come back under the Paul Levesque era? I want to say maybe. I don't want to, completely, rule it out or rule it in. But, she obviously cares about the company to the point where, she wants to see it do better. She said, and I quote, "Look at what you guys can do when you can actually put organization and effort into things. It's frustrating that not everyone gets that." And it's true. Ronda's 100%, 110% true. So, it should be interesting to see where she, kind of goes with that. All right, next we have CM Punk is confirmed for multiple WWE shows. So that just means that CM Punk is going to be uh, in the WWE draft, most importantly. I don't know if he's going to go to SmackDown or Raw, but I hope he goes to the same show as Drew McIntyre, because that would be so cool. They obviously have to finish things up here. So, I don't know. CM Punk being declared for a couple upcoming shows means that maybe he might get back into the ring. I highly doubt it, because they want, you want to make sure that that shoulder is, or that elbow is 100%. Absolutely. You don't want to force anything. Have this guy be put up on the shelf, and like, obviously CM Punk came from AEW, and like he was let go because of the tragic footage that happened between him and Jack Perry. But honestly, CM Punk needs to stay in the WWE. He needs to keep making waves like he has been, cutting good promos, and he's a tactician in the ring. So he puts on great matches. That's the reason why people love CM Punk. Even when CM Punk was gone for the longest time, you go to any wrestling event, or you would be watching TV, and you would hear CM Punk, CM Punk, because he's kind of like that, the antagonist of the WWE. But the WWE needs that antagonist to kind of shake things up a bit. You know what I mean? You have that straight edge, kind of mentality that CM Punk has, but I don't know. It should be interesting to see what to do with this character. I wonder where he's going to get drafted. Like I said, I just hope he gets drafted with Drew McIntyre because, you can't just leave us on a cliffhanger, WWE. You just can't. You simply can. Just kidding. No, but all right. Hope you guys like my show, Wrestling News Roundup. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to show, your appreciation and to show you like the show. I love my audience. I love you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not just kidding. I don't love you guys, but I don't want I don't know where, bro. But leave a positive review at the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity all the way, and it really does make a difference. We also invite you guys to follow us on Facebook, Twitter /X, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Also, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, go ahead and check out some of our other sports shows like Sam on baseball, Kenneth on football, TJ on sports, Jeremy on sports. We just goes on and on and on. We have Thomas on college sports, college football. We have the Andrew Tate show. Just sports, and more sports. If you want to get lost in the world of sports, join the GSMC Sports movement. This is going to be monumental, so don't miss out on this, guys. Don't miss out. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. All right. Well, once again, thank you guys, and I hope you all have a phenomenal day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work. Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn.